Have you ever been told that your flat feet are the cause of all of your issues? One of the key misconceptions that we believe is that feet flattening is a bad thing. If we drive the knee forward on this foot model, you'll notice that this arch actually goes down towards the floor. Gravity takes the bones down to the ground, elongates all the muscles at the bottom of the foot, and then causes the foot to spring forward. Think of a trampoline. It goes down and goes up. And this is what's supposed to take place in our foot. But what happens is when we put in arch support or orthotics, we block that motion from taking place, and now the foot acts like a cement block on the floor instead of articulating well with the ground in the way that nature designed it to. And this is the idea of a trampoline or spring effect taking place to allow the foot to articulate into the ground. You've probably heard of the word pronation before, which usually is associated with it being the devil, a bad thing. But pronation simply means absorption. It means keeping the big toe knuckle, the little toe knuckle on the floor, and the foot going down. Now, I don't mean that the foot goes down like this and everything collapses in, but the key thing is that we keep the tripod of the foot on the floor, the heel, the pinky toe knuckle, and the big toe knuckle, as the foot arch descends to the ground, and this allows for better propulsion or spring off to the next step. So even a foot that's more flat still needs to learn how to flatten. You'll see that my arch goes down, and then as I come out, my arch rises. So we're learning to get the foot to move through its full range of motion. Just like my arm should bend and extend, the foot should go through its full range of motion. And if I cast my arm from moving, essentially if I broke my arm, well, what's gonna happen? The muscles are gonna atrophy, they're gonna weaken, and then my joints are gonna get super stiff. And that's the same thing that's happening in most people's shoes because they block all the motion from taking place with the fancy technology of motion control and rigid arch support, while the foot starts to weaken and it starts to atrophy and it starts to get very rigid. And so now things like knee pain become very common because we don't have absorption taking place downstream of all the joints on top of it. And the knee starts to take on all the load instead of the foot doing its job properly. Here's a super simple drill that you can do to reintroduce flattening back into your feet to open up your calves and have happy knees. All you're gonna need is a sock for this, and we could do a little wedge for a bonus, but I'll talk about that afterwards. What you're gonna do is you're gonna place your sock underneath your arch, right in front of your heel, and you're just gonna fold it up just so that you could feel your arch descending to the ground with this exercise. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with your weight all the way in your heel, and you're gonna bend your knee and push it forward, but you're gonna make sure that your heel stays super grounded, and you're gonna go very slowly to bring your knee forward, and as your knee comes forward, the rest of your body follows. Make sure that your heel is on the ground and you're not losing contact with the outside border like this. So as I go through this, I'm going to bend my knee, coming forward, and I'm actually going to aim my knee slightly inwards, again, not to lose the outside border, but just so that I feel my foot going down on the sock and getting heavier. Then I come out and I'll feel less weight on the sock. I'm going to come into it, and I can actually turn my body a little bit, but notice that I'm leaning my head over this foot. I'm not going back like this. So if you just repeat that a few times, making sure that your toes aren't clenching and gripping to stop the arch from flattening, you're gonna feel a really nice opening of the underside of the foot into the calf, and you'll actually feel these quad muscles loading quite a lot. My clients shake when I show them this exercise. And you're just gonna repeat that a few times. Oftentimes when people do calf stretches, they actually don't let their foot change shapes at all, so they're driving their knee outwards like this. The only difference is that as I bring my knee, I open up my zipper this way, and I allow that arch to descend to the ground. And I'm really going to turn into it as long as I don't lose the outside board of the foot, because that would no longer be pronating the foot. That would just be a foot that's collapsing in, and that's where we see all sorts of knee issues that take place. So the key thing is that the full foot stays on the ground, and you go through it like that, nice and slowly, to feel the heel, feel the arch, and don't grip your toes. One bonus that you could do is add wedges towards the tripod of the foot to give yourself more reference as you're going through this. And if someone was trying to pull them away, they shouldn't be able to steal any of these wedges, and that would confirm that you have weight in the proper areas. When I show this exercise to my clients, people walk away and they actually feel a sense of lightness or springiness that they didn't feel before. They're like, whoa, it feels like my arch is going down to the ground more. And that's exactly the point. When we've trained ourselves to live on the outside of our feet, we actually create so much stiffness in the body. Whether you have high arch feet or flat feet, that is not inherently the problem. The question is, does your foot change shape? Does it have the ability to flatten and the ability to arch? That's the key thing to understanding why so many people are stuck with foot pain. Is because their foot's only in one shape, whether it's high arch or low arch, and so the foot is only interacting with the floor in one specific way. But there's 26 bones in the feet, 33 joints that are supposed to change as they go through the walking cycle. So stop blaming your pain on your flat feet and actually learn how to flatten them properly, and that will do you wonders in terms of feeling good in your everyday life. If you're someone who's been dealing with chronic foot pain and doesn't know where to turn because you feel like you've tried everything, I've got the solution for you. Check out my program called Rebuild Your Body from the Ground Up. That's going to teach you how to load your body in unison so everything works together and nothing gets overloaded. Check out the link in the description below.